Hello, chess family. It's me, National Master Jesse James, and today we're taking a look at game number 6 from Fischer's My 60 Most Memorable Games. And this one, we're going to be seeing a very nice Ruy Lopez with a very nice tactic at the end. Let's get to it. Here we go. We start up with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, the Ruy Lopez, so we're over 500 years old. Pawn a6, Morphy's defense over here. Bishop goes to a4, knight goes to f6, attacking the pawn, and castles here for the main line. Bishop b7, one of the best ways to play in my opinion. There's also these knight takes e4 variations, the open Ruy, but you don't see this too often. That being said, the game continued with bishop e7, rook e1 to defend the pawn on e4, pawn b5 attacking the bishop, bishop back to b3 on the good diagonal, and pawn to d6. Now this is actually played for a certain reason. Here, black would love to play something like knight a5 to trap and win this bishop because, well, at this point, you'll go ahead and have a good game because you're getting rid of this very strong attacking bishop. With that being said, well, there's a pawn undefended here, so you can just go ahead and snack attack here on e5. All right, back to the game. This is why black plays pawn to d6 here. And, well, now we want to go ahead and play c3 and d4 here because that's the idea of the Ruy Lopez, to get 2 pawns in the center. So we go ahead and play pawn c3, and this conveniently allows the bishop to have an escape square when the knight does come to a5 here. Castles happens right here. Pawn to h3. It may seem like a weird move here, but here black is threatening bishop to g4 to pin the knight and stop this d4 from happening because, well, if bishop g4 gets played right away, h3 bishop takes, you can't play d4 because e takes and knight takes. So with that being said, h3 is one of the main moves here. h3, knight to a5. Here we're going to be going into the Shocron variation. Bishop to b3, bishop to c2, and here's the idea, pawn c5. In the Shocron, what black is trying to do is trying to stop the pawn advance to d4. And also, well, whenever you're playing the white side of the Ruy Lopez, you're trying to keep the center close so you can go for kingside attack. So what is black up to? Well, black over here is going to try and open up the center so it'll stop your kingside attack and then attack on the queen side. So the c5 move fits in very nicely. Again, it's trying to control the d4 square and just pushing forward here. It's again one of the ideas of knight coming to a5 to allow the c5 pawn push. All right, here we go. We're still in theory. Pawn d4 gets played and queen c7. Of course, there's some captures around here you can do, but no captures will really be good for black. I guess the only one you can try to make an argument for is the c takes because this does open up the c file. This typically does happen, but black tries to keep it a little bit flexible here. The reason being is, well, you might let the knight out to a better square of c3. Typically the rule is, well, wait till the knight goes to d2 and then we can take on d4, and then the knight doesn't get the good access square to c3. Also, another thing here is to point out is after pawn takes, well, pawn takes again. This is going to be terrible for black because now we just have a backwards pawn open file here. Knight takes d4, and the d6 pawn is a backwards pawn, and yeah, this is going to be bad. So, queen c7 gets played, getting ready to line up down the c file over here. Knight b to d2, and after this knight is played, then it's good for you to take on d4. This did not happen right away. In fact, black went ahead and played bishop d7, developing the bishop and getting the rook over to c8. Well, you might ask yourself, why would the bishop go to d7 and not b7? If you do go to b7, this might be the right time now to play d5, as, well, your bishop's just being blocked in, and, well, this knight's almost looking trapped over here too. So this is probably not the best way to continue forward here for black. The bishop on d7 is far more flexible and allowing counterplay on the queen side with the rook coming to c8. Well, we're going to continue what's called the Steinitz knight maneuver. The knight goes to from b1 to d2 to f1, and then you have ideas of either g3 or going to e3 here. All right, knight to f1 got played, rook to e8, a nice move here, allowing the bishop to come backwards to defend. And one of the ideas for black in these kind of positions is to take on d4 and then put pressure on the e4 pawn, and that's where this bishop f8 will come into play. You can even do bishop d8 ideas, trying to bring the bishop over to b6 sometimes too. Oof. So much to know about the theory of Ruy Lopez. This is definitely a master's opening. Here we go. Knight went to e3 here. Typically goes to g3, but e3 makes a little bit more sense here because the d5 and f5 squares are opened up here. Here Fischer is finally starting to go into his own ideas. After g6, we see the dark squares get weak around here, and he comes up with a cool idea. He goes ahead and plays d takes. Again, typically not something we want to do here, but he has a reason for this, and plays the knight to h2. Can you see what the idea is? Typically, knight maneuvers backwards aren't going to be too good for you, but the knight wasn't going to be doing too much over here on g5 as well. There's not too much to attack over here as most things are defended. But here we mentioned that dark squares are weak, so we're going to be trying to jump to g4 and even bring the queen over here so we can try to attack on these dark squares. Alright, black plays good. Rook a to d8. Well, let's get this queen out of here. Queen goes to f3. And bishop to e6. It looks like the game is pretty much even here. But because the center is still partially closed here, and, well, there's really no access to this d-file for black to penetrate, here Fischer is able to start going for the kingside attack. Alright, what do we play here? Yep, it's time for that idea. Fischer plays knight h to g4 here. And now we see the first idea is to try and put pressure on the f6 knight. Alright, well, knight took. And here, question, should we play with pawn takes, threatening maybe g5 ideas in the future, or play knight takes g4? Again, I encourage you to push pause, stop, and take a look. Which way do you think is best to move forward here? Alright, well, you can play knight takes g4 here. It definitely wasn't the best, because although if this looks really nice with this coming in, here black is more than happy just to trade off. And now, after h takes g4, you've lost your knights, and you've lost good attacking chances here. Here we see Fischer definitely has a good idea about how to get this knight into play. He does it right on tempo. He goes ahead and plays h takes g4, queen c6, and now the idea, very nice idea. If you want to try and find it, you're more than welcome to. This one is a bit tough, though. Pawn to g5 here, very, very nice. And you see, well, we can't really just take the pawn right away, as this allows this really nice move of knight to d5 double attack. Here we see knight f6 check. Also, the bishop is threatening to take here on g5. So if bishop takes on d5, well, white's just winning here easily with bishop takes f6. This pawn's threatening to take the bishop, and this bishop threatening to take the rook. Again, there's lots of moves to play here, but this was the main idea here. With that being said, well, Shocron over here does not do that because, well, this game was dubbed a small oversight, and plays knight to c4 over here. Alright, here we go. Knight g4 gets played. You can see this knight is just going to get too active here on the dark squares. So, well, black just goes ahead and takes, which is probably the best idea for them. Queen takes on g4, and knight back to b6. Here, black is definitely looking to make some trades, and definitely try to utilize this open d-file here. It's just kind of hard because, again, you can see these bishops are doing a very good job on holding this third and second rank. Alright, Fischer has a new idea. Pawn g3. What's the idea of this one? Hopefully you found it. The idea most likely is going to bring the king up so you can use this open file over here and go for a kingside attack. Alright, pawn c4 got played. Black's not giving up yet. Definitely trying to create some counterplay. Maybe bring the bishop over here. And, well, black would definitely be pushing queenside pawns and just trying to keep making counterplay. The king side's so closed up, it's really hard to do anything over there. King g2, let's do that plan. Let's do that kingside attack. Knight to d7, and rook to h1. Knight to f8. And here, very interesting move by Fischer. Pawn to b4. This is definitely a good way to play. Whenever you're playing your games, the two weaknesses principle. Play on both sides of the board here. Here, Fischer's able to kind of slow down the attack over here and open up more files for the attack. Funny enough, to go kingside attack, he needs to open up the queen side over here. Well, black went ahead and played queen e6. Of course, if pawn takes over here, well, you're allowing the bishop to jump in, and now we see we have some attacking ideas over here. Queen takes on c3, not something I recommend. Here, white's already a +1 advantage. We'll just simply play bishop e3, and again, we're going to bring this rook in, and we're going to go queenside to go kingside. What a fun way to put it, huh? Alright, so queen e6 got played. Of course, if they go to endgame here, black will just be much better because, well, black's already better placed. I mean, the best they can really say is that they'll definitely be even in this game, and who doesn't want to say that they're even against Fischer? Queen to e2, of course, I don't want to trade, Fischer says. Pawn to a5 got played, and this is exactly what Fischer wants. Open up the queen side, create some open files. B takes on a5, queen a6, bishop to e3, queen takes on a5. Here the c3 pawn is hanging, but again, Fischer just is looking for that attack, looking to create those counter chances. So, pawn to a4, beautiful move here. Opening up the queen side, and you can see that this rook will become active at some point. Well, of course, the take is a mistake. After pawn takes, rook takes, well, white's just doing really well here. c4 pawn will fall too. Also, bishop takes a4 is another good way because, well, it looks like you're just going to be winning the exchange here because now we've got the discovery attack against this queen. All right. Black went ahead and played rook to a8 here. A takes on b5, of course. Of course, you could try and take the queen for 2 rooks, but here I don't think this is the best idea. After takes, here queen takes c4. We have 2 good passed pawns here. The attack won't be fast, but with that being said, it is very sure. White has a very easy plan. Let's push these passed pawns, and black is going to have a hard time defending this attack. Alright, so queen took on b5, and now rook h to b1. Again, the h7 and kingside over here is so well defended. The best way for us to play for an attack is to get over here on the queen side. Black was in the center, and now his pieces are a little bit misplaced. Queen c6 got played. Rook b6 again, and a very nice tempo here. Queen to c7 and rook to a6. Here, finally, Fischer has gotten control of one of the open files here, particularly the a file. All right, rook takes on a6, rook takes on a6, rook c8 here. The game is pretty much slightly better for Fischer here, but of course Fischer's not going to stop pushing forward here. Here the c4 pawn's a little bit weak, the e5 pawn's a bit weak, and c3 pawn's a little bit weak, but you can see here, black is very content with just going ahead and defending this position. Queen g4 gets played, knight to e6, bishop to a4, looking for a very nice idea, which we'll be seeing very soon. Black played rook b8, rook c6, looking to win this c4 pawn. So black went ahead and played queen to d8, and uh-oh, it's tactics time. A small oversight, as the name of the game is dubbed. What does Fischer play here to win material? All right. I hope you pushed pause. Hope you tried to find it. Here the move is, believe it or not, rook takes on e6. No points if you did not see what the real idea is. Guessing is not the right answer here. All right, after rook takes on e6, okay, don't they just take back? Well, take backs will be very bad after queen takes check. It doesn't matter which way you go. Let's just say the king goes to f8 here. Again, in all variations, g7, h8, queen takes on e5. And this king is just too vulnerable here. These bishops are just going to help out. This pawn on g5 did a great job here holding back this bishop. And, well, the rook's hanging over here. So, something like queen to d6. The game ends pretty quick here. Queen check, king f7. Queen takes h7 check. Oh, my gosh. King goes to e6. And, all the pawns are just falling. This is going to be a very easy endgame. In fact, right now, it's just going to be an easy checkmate. Oof. Bishop f6. So, with that being said, well, rook takes e6 is the move here, but black actually did have a very interesting idea here. All right, black played queen c8, and it looks like, uh-oh, did Fischer make a mistake here? You can't move the rook anywhere because then you lose your queen, and you can't move your queen or else you lose the rook. Was this a small oversight? Hopefully you find it, white to move and win. Here Fischer finds a way to keep his extra rook, or an extra piece here. All right, hopefully you push pause. Hopefully you looked around for a little bit. Here Fischer finds the beautiful move, bishop to d7 here, attacking this queen. And, well, can't we just take this right now? Unfortunately, no, we cannot. If queen takes on d7, well, now we have this very nice idea. Rook takes g6 check, and, well, you just lost your queen. What a beautiful ending and a very nice tactic at the ending. Again, a small oversight. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this game 6 of Fischer's My 60 Most Memorable Games. We'll see you in the next one.